gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Heart.
Hello.
If you were watching this at that time, I don't know. I feel like we already got copyright strike. Hello, everybody.
We'll be fine.
Welcome to freaking Wrestle Reel. How's it going?
Yo, episode 25 ski of Wrestle Reel. And I mean, 25, what a good number to really round us out going into WrestleMania weekend. Granted, I think it's WrestleMania week at this point because WWE had so much shit going on this week. But
it was quite the busy week, man. It was quite
damn right.
But yeah, I've never been so hyped for WrestleMania before in my life. And if you didn't notice, I am WWE 2K Nick Molbach because I just got an Xbox and I've been installing things in the background of it. I was thinking something WrestleMania related, but then I was like, you know what? 2K, bring back the 2K games because that would be really fun for Wrestle Reel, right?
Oh, totally. But I mean, WWE 2K Nick Molbach, I mean, the perfect compliment to Chris Macho Man 3 Lopez. Hashtag WAPBoy Summer. Hashtag WAPBoy Summer. Because damn right, we're starting that shit early. But I mean, yeah, it's all right, Nick. You have your time. Because I know we're only going live the next 3 days, including today, on this very channel, talking about some wrestling. I mean, might as well start it off with a little bit of a news ski, a little bit of a programming update from all of us here at Wrestle Reel. We're going live the next 2 nights. If you're watching us live, thank you. If you're watching us on replay, I mean, check us out on Saturday and on Sunday. We're doing a regular Wrestle Reel watch along for night 1 of WrestleMania. And on Sunday, we're doing a pseudo Wrestle Reel talk. We'll probably squeeze in just a little bit of movie news because it's normal Real Talk day. It's our movie interview / news program. So we'll squeeze in a little bit of news at the top of the show before anything WrestleMania kicks off. And we'll have some friends join us. Some friends of the channel, some friends of the show.
These are going to be long streams, by the way. Because
these will be long as hell. Luckily, the Rumble wasn't too long. I think, what was it, almost 4 hours long?
It was. But this is WrestleMania.
This is WrestleMania. I mean, that's why they split it into 2 nights.
It is, and you know what? We love that.
Yeah, and I mean, depending on how this whole vaccine rollout goes and all the whole COVID-19, brother, how that stuff pans out, this may be the last 2-night WrestleMania ever. I mean, on the plus side, hopefully, but as a fan, it's a bummer because I like the 2-night WrestleManias. Maybe because I like how New Japan does them for Wrestle Kingdom. So last year was a lot of fun and it was way more digestible. And this year's the same thing.
And we want to here we're saying that as like, pardon me, I'm going to turn this off in the background so Zion's not flashing every 5 seconds.
No,
even though I like Zion.
We like Zion.
Like, here's the thing: is like we want to go to WrestleMania, so let's hope that eventually, like, we'll see. Chris Anthony Lopez, I'm going to start this one off for you. Have you watched any wrestling within the past week?
Okay, so I mean, I know we're going to talk about Takeover in our first count, so I'll hold my breath in regards to Takeover because yes, I did watch both of those shows. A little too long ski for my liking for an NXT show. I think combined it was like 4.5 hours, pushing 5. And that's long. That's a lot of wrestling for an NXT show. Granted, the wrestling was pretty damn cool. Really damn cool.
An amazing. We'll get into
we'll save those thoughts. But something I did do that was that I totally want to credit WWE's YouTube channel. Let me talk about them a lot on this, but they uploaded this thing about it was Mickie James and Trish Stratus about their match from WrestleMania 22, and
go on about this because I did not watch any wrestling.
So
other than obviously,
besides Takeover, but no, you're good. Like this is the only thing I watched outside of Takeover, and a little bit of Dynamite, just a little bit. But I mean, I had to watch Takeover. I just got it.
You can put Dynamite viewership up for them, obviously, because Takeover's taking over that time. And hey, if it means anything, before I interrupt you for the 3 millionth time this episode,
you're fine, dude.
NXT won the last night of the Wednesday Night Wars.
Yes, it was like 100,000 people or something like that in that margin.
I'm not that surprised, obviously, but they did win.
Yes, and I mean, like, by all means, like, I'm glad they did because Lord knows they needed it before the move on Tuesday. But for me, with this Trish Stratus Mickey James thing, it was like a playback where it was an interview that they did during WrestleMania 31, I think. Okay. And they were talking about that match and the importance of that match. And I didn't realize how long of a build they had to that. They had like an 8-month build to that match at WrestleMania 22. I want to say 22. And it was pretty interesting. Granted, at the time, women's matches weren't as notable. We had a lot of like bra panties and let's go into the mud pit. Like that's not something I was a big fan of at the time. Maybe because I didn't start watching wrestling until like 2009, and they stopped doing that, but they were still doing stupid shit. Mm-hmm. So with this match, and I want to say Lita Trish Stratus when they main evented Raw that one time. These are like the two instances of really good matches, really high profile matches that meant something to a lot of people. And this WrestleMania match in particular, I rewatched this match after watching that playback they put on their YouTube channel, which I think is on Peacock as well. But I'm like, hey, like this match, I mean, with the story that they were telling, and there was almost like a Bret Hart, Steve Austin type of double turn because Mickey James was the heel going into that match, and Trish Stratus was the super over babyface, right? Because I mean, she was Trish, right? And she still is like the shit. But there was one point in the match where the Chicago crowd turned on Trish and were rooting for Mickey. And that was the vibe that, granted, the match wasn't that long. Like, that's one bummer about these women's matches that predate, like, 2014, is that they were not long matches. They were probably, like, 10-minute matches at best. And this match wasn't too far away from that. It was floating around 10 minutes. Probably less because it was WrestleMania. But it was still a really good match, and it was a great payoff to the story they were telling. And it made Mickey this super over star that would go on and carry the women's division, at least co-carry it with these other big names for a while. And we talked about her last week on the show, where I forget where we placed her on our like top 20.
Mickey was top 10.
I know I remember she was top 10, but I don't remember exactly where she was at.
I will get it up for you right now.
Sweet. Like, and when we talked about it, I was just like, I went back, especially after us doing that top 22, I believe.
She was 11.
Woo! Who is she behind?
Paige.
Can you tell me Paige? Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Maybe we might have to amend that list one day. But
geez, already 1 week after we're going. You know what? That's
7 whole days. 7 whole days, and I want to already amend that list. But no, like I guarantee, and with Jose here again, shout out to Jose Garcia for coming on the show last week. That was a fun conversation that we had. That took up like an hour, the first hour of the show. I feel like when we have guests, our first count's always the longest, and I was more than happy with it. But with this Mickey James Trish Stratus match, it was pretty damn entertaining, and I really enjoyed the crazy psychotic Mickey James that's kidnapping like Ashley, and she was like obsessing over Trish Stratus, wanted to be Trish, and like this is like this match is a lot of fun, especially at the time where divas matches weren't the best. Like that match sticks out. That in Lita Trish that main evented Raw, was it 2007, I think?
And who would have thought? I mean, that would be something
right,
like such a big deal back then, because we got the news that Bianca and Sasha will be main eventing night one.
Oh yeah,
and Chris Anthony Lopez, you were very correct about that. We're very excited about that. I keep referencing this, and I just want to play it.
Paycheck.
Jeez, and I've been waiting to make that a soundbite, so I had to have downloaded it during the show. Because what the hell? I love Paige though. So like,
no, Paige is great. I mean, we put her at 10 for a reason.
Right. Like, it's just like this.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Paycheck.
Why is she so awkward?
She's so awkward.
Like, I don't know who directed her to start that video or whatever the hell she was talking about.
She was promoting Fighting With My Family, I think.
Really? Oh,
yeah, I think that was for the trailer for Fighting With My Family.
That's gross. Like I don't like that's so weird and awkward. But the stuff with women's wrestling, it's crazy how far we've come in a decade, and 15 years really to the year, because of 22 to 37. It was awesome hearing that news. I don't want to make this a dark match, because I know we'll talk about it more at the end of the show with the whole our WrestleMania Prelude party. But I do want to say that having Sasha and Bianca headline the first night of WrestleMania, a few years after Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda main evented a one-night program, it took us a while, but we got there. And I hope we see more of it going forward. But Nick, in a seamless transition, there was a women's match at NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver that I definitely want to talk about and get your 2 cents on. So let's go ahead and start talking about some NXT Takeover, baby. So NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver.
I'm not very good at timing that.
No, you're fine.
Chris is always saying something as I'm like, one. Oh shoot.
I feel like I'm gonna talk until you play it anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
True.
But okay, so Stand and Deliver, NXT Takeover. General thoughts, Nick. I want just your general thoughts. Let's not pinpoint any matches yet. I will say the results for the peeps at home real quick. There were 2 matches that were announced after we taped, or after we went live last week, after we did our predictions. That was Zoe Stark and Toni Storm, and Killian Dane, Drake Maverick against Breezango on respective nights 1 and 2.
Number one contenders match, by the way.
Yes, the tag match was for a future tag team title match. So Pete Dunne beat Kushida. Bronson Reed won that 6-man gauntlet eliminator. Walter beat Tommaso Ciampa. MSK won the tag belts. Rock and Raquel Gonzalez beat Io Shirai. Santos Escobar beat Jordan Devlin. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, the Fire Pit, beat The Way, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell. Johnny Gargano defended the belt against Bronson Reed the night after, to my surprise. Karrion Kross beat Finn Balor. Kyle O'Reilly beat Adam Cole in a freaking long-ass, unsanctioned match to headline and main event both nights at the end of the day. So, Nick, after all that stuff, after watching the matches, what were your thoughts on TakeOver Stand and Deliver?
Well, I look at the matches. I'm going to compare it to WrestleMania real quick and just say that
Please.
A lot of these matches are considerably better on paper than a lot of the matches for WrestleMania, if you ask me.
Okay.
And that said, I thought that Stand and Deliver, though, yes, a little bit long, a little bit drawn out at times. I thought that it pulled off and kind of surprised me at times. Obviously, we'll get into our thoughts on certain matches and stuff like that.
Yes.
I guess we're not necessarily breaking down everything. I mean, I could care less that Killian and Maverick won a future number 1 contenders match. That said, because it's going to start MSK's tag team run off with a win, which is kind of nice.
Right.
But I enjoyed pretty much everything that I got. Matches of the year contenders were not entirely what I had predicted, but I also thought Devlin was going to end up winning. But that was a fantastic ladder match. That was a beautiful ladder match. I guess moving on to my thoughts on actual matches and stuff like that. But Chris,
please
go
ahead.
No, Chris, what did you think before we get into the matches? Of the actual show.
Great presentation. I know the folks on night 1 that were watching on Peacock weren't the biggest fan of the delay that was from USA to Peacock, which, I mean, this is like the first big show they were doing a simulcast on. So I know there are going to be some problems regardless. I loved how the Capitol Wrestling Center looked for this show. This might have been one of the cooler aesthetics for a takeover, and I wouldn't mind this being a thing going forward if they're not touring. If we have to have a takeover at home, then let's keep it there and have the same setup. I love the chain fencing with the plexiglass. Excuse me, the fans that were there. Although there was about maybe 100 people there.
Yeah, but legit fans though, right?
Yes, there was some. Yeah. There was a mixture of personnel, wrestlers, and select fans. Some very select group. but there were fans there nonetheless, and they're letting their voices heard or letting their voices be heard, especially on night 2 with how a certain championship match went, and we'll get to that. I definitely want to bring that up, but I love the presentation. I love the aesthetic. It was a great night of wrestling on both days, both Wednesday and Thursday. There wasn't. I'm trying, like, looking back at the cards for both nights. There wasn't a lull, which is really hard nowadays. There's usually like a piss break match or a bathroom break match, and for a takeover, to your point, Nick, like the NXT shows rarely have one, especially like takeovers. Takeovers, like, they're all hits, no misses. There's not been a bad takeover, and that's not like a hot take or something that people don't know. Like, it's fact at this point. So night 1 and night 2, if I had a preference, I think I preferred night 1, but ever so slightly. If I really had to narrow it down,
and that's crazy at the same time, because you had like a lot of different matches that I would have thought. I mean, in my opinion, there is a clear match of the 2 nights, in my opinion.
And I mean, okay, let's talk about it. What's your match of NXT Takeover?
It was Walter versus Ciampa, right?
Okay, thank God. Yeah,
okay. It was Walter versus Ciampa. I thought that Raquel and Io did great. I thought that was a fantastic match. I thought that the ladder match was great, but below my expectations of it.
Okay.
Unsanctioned match was really good. I thought there was a lot of storytelling there. I'm not all for Karrion Kross, but I get it. So I'm not mad that he won. MSK taking the belts. Wow.
We wanted it, but we didn't expect it to be this soon.
No, and to people's points, it's not them pushing them too soon. It's the guys were brought to NXT to carry the tag team division. Clearly,
the right people won at the end of the day.
Right.
In regards to tag teams.
And I would say maybe the lull was for them randomly adding in Finn and Breezango and Killian, or what did that start?
That was like pre-show. Yeah, I was like, those are both pre-show matches, like Zoe Stark and Tony Storm.
I would say like both pre-show matches were technically lulls, but they started the show, so you're obviously not going to go take your piss break then.
Right.
But yeah, Walter Ciampa, man. If there was ever going to be a time where I thought that Walter, for some reason, was actually going to lose this title, it was then. And good on the WWE for bringing the UK Championship over to regular NXT.
Right.
Giving us a preview of Walter, who, in my opinion, if they bring him over to the main roster ever, is perfect to be booked incredibly well as a world champion. Walter is the man. Walter is probably the best wrestler, in my opinion, or one of the best wrestlers that they have in NXT right now, just in general overall. And for fans who might not regularly be watching NXT, like if there was a clear winner for this like NXT, it was UK NXT.
Right.
Because like a lot of people who probably didn't know who Walter even was, if they were more casual, which, by the way, I mean, he's been on NXT, don't get me wrong, but for those who were like not as into Walter before, you're a Walter fan now.
You should be, at least.
And by God, you're a Ciampa fan as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of almost want Gargano Ciampa again. I kind of do. And to my surprise, where like Bronson wins the gauntlet match, I don't think I had that. I don't think anybody had Bronson. Did somebody had Bronson winning, right?
I don't remember if Jose did. I didn't.
I think he had Bronson, actually.
If he did, then good on him.
That was a swerve. Not to say that Swerve wasn't even in the match, but still. Ooh. It was a swerve because I'm thinking to myself the entire time, how the hell does Loomis not win? The story has been building towards Loomis versus Gargano.
He was the second person out, dude.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is kind of up in the air right now. And when
Right.
Bronson won, I'm going, okay. I mean, Bronson Reed doesn't always get noted as like, you know, a top guy in NXT.
He slept on. Bronson Reed slept on as hell. Yeah.
I mean, and he's another guy who like he's got that like, you know, he's just a very I am a fan of Bronson Reed. And I was very happy when he won that match. I guess I'm saying that he kind of does have like an Otis type build, but he uses it in a different way.
He's a thicker dude. It's thick boy summer according to Bronson Reed. And I mean, like I'm all for. It took me a while to get warmed up to him because he came in that group with Grimes, with Swerve, with Damian Priest. He was in that same group or the same Performance Center class, and I think he just got you know left like I don't want to say left out to dry. He was overshadowed by those other guys, especially Priest and Swerve, in my opinion, because if we're talking about that match, how the hell does Swerve not win? That's my thing. I didn't have Swerve winning. Go check the tape from last week. I had Loomis, right? I think I had Loomis winning this.
I think we both had Brother Loomis winning. Yes.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. I think we had him winning, and it made sense. Like what you said, it made sense storyline wise. But to have him be the second one out, and I know there's some questionable ass booking in this match, right? Having Leon Ruff get eliminated during someone's entrance, having Loomis be the second person eliminated, having Swerve start the match, end it, but lose. Like, why don't you just give it to him at this point? Plus, Swerve's doing some of the best stuff of his NXT run right now as a heel against Ruff. I know why you give it to Reed. Totally. In my opinion, there's no wrong answer. No. There was no wrong answer in that match. How you book LA Knight wasn't the best. He looked cool, looked strong, but like Bronson Reed just beat the shit out of him. And he was the third person out. And he was the last one to come in. So I know there's some issues with the booking with that match. At the end of the day, to me, there's no wrong answer. I would have liked the elimination order to be a little bit different. Or even if you're going to have Swerve be the last one, shit, like have him win the damn thing. But I'm just biased because I really love the man formerly known as Shane Strickland. Like,
it's like, how do you book that? You know what I mean?
Right. And I know it's hard.
How do you book a heel versus Gargano right now, who is like that top annoying heel in NXT?
Right.
And it's doing it really well. So that's not me like knocking him or anything like that.
Oh no, Gargano
and then he wins
killing it right now.
And I'm like,
and Gargano retains. And
interesting move.
And I believe all three of us are like, yo, whoever comes out's gonna win. And I want to say one of us had him retaining. Let's go down. Victor Alban in the chat, friend of the show. We love Thick Boy Reed. We do love Thick Boy Reed. That's some real shit. Like, Victor, we hope to see you tomorrow at our WrestleMania watch along. But the stuff with Reed winning the match, he wasn't my favorite of the bunch. I would have preferred, like, the only guy to win the North American Championship in that match was Leon Ruff, which is crazy as hell to say out loud.
Right.
It is, and I think Vic Joseph kept saying it on commentary, like, Leon Ruff, only guy of the bunch to win the North American Championship. What? How on earth?
And it's like the title's history is not that long.
Right.
You know, it hasn't existed for a very long time. I mean, who I think I can count the amount of people who have won it on my hand, right?
Totally. Totally.
And two of them were in Undisputed Era. So it's like, right? Didn't Roderick Strong win it? Yes.
If he did, it was awfully brief.
Yeah.
There are a lot of short title reigns with that belt. A lot of short ones. Gargano is on like his third right now. Shit.
Adam Cole, Gargano. So I don't know where the NXT North American Championship goes from here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, you know, unless there is like some like, you know, disillusion within the group or something like that, I don't think Theory is going to turn on him anytime soon.
It's just no, I don't think so.
It's an interesting thing to look at. I would have thought that Bronson could have taken the title off of him. Okay, so Roddy
he beat that guy.
Yes.
He beat VD, the person who shall not be named.
Yes. But, you know, maybe we get a rematch of Bronson versus Gargano. I don't know. I don't know who's going to take the title off of Gargano, and good on him for, having a memorable run with it and everything.
My fear is that I don't want to say they forgot, but they're just gonna act like the whole Loomis Indy Hartwell stuff didn't happen. That's my fear, right? Like we're gonna move on from that, because I'm not gonna lie, I really rock with that, and I know Beth had mentioned it on commentary. Index, the hottest ship name in NXT, Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis. I really dug the story between all of them. I'm still shook that Loomis was the second person out. I still can't believe that. Watching the match, when I did, I'm like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Like, I know, like, you got LA Knight over in the process, but I'm like, damn, like, Loomis could have had a really killer showing. He probably could have killed somebody in this match, but we'll never know, because he got he did kind of kill LA Knight a little bit afterwards, but it is what it is. But that match was still one of my favorites of the bunch. As much as I bitch about it, I still had a lot of fun watching it. It was a lot of fun. I love multi-person matches, so I'm always going to be biased to those. But that same night, right, like, Pete Dunne Kushida is one hell of a way to start off a pay-per-view.
And maybe that's the route that you go. I keep forgetting that match was there, because that was one of the best matches of the entire pay-per-view.
Kushida and Pete Dunne put on a fucking clinic. That's my one. Victor Albane in the chat. They might have Gargano beat Dream in title length for the NA title. Or
probably a great idea.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that Dream held the belt for that long. GB, bro.
Timothy Thatcher versus Gargano for the North American
Where's
title?
Timothy Thatcher at?
Yeah,
like some real
that
shit.
could be a match right there. I'm not going to lie. I know I'm the biggest Timothy Thatcher mark in the entire world. It's like, that could be a match right there. I just don't know what. It was strange that he wasn't even in the Battle Royal to get, like, unless he's hurt right now, and I don't even know. Maybe he is.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dunn and Kushida move that way. I know, like, move towards the mid-card title scene, but Gargano, like, Gargano's beaten Reed a few times now, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, what's next? And maybe Bronson Reed, if Walter's going to stick around, hey, Bronson Reed's not too bad of a runner-up. I would kill to see that match. That match too thick of boys, just slapping the hell out of each other. That's something I would really dig to see. But and I do want to. I know we kind of brushed over it earlier, but the Zoe Stark Tony Storm match, Zoe Stark went over.
Yes,
she beat Tony Storm clean, which. They must love Zoe Stark. They must love her. Yeah, Zoe Stark. They must love her, dude, if they're putting her over this way. Like, she just got there.
Yeah.
Zoe Stark was like just got there. And then, dang, here she is. And she's out here beating Tony Storm clean during the pre-show of night one of TakeOver, Stand and Deliver.
It's crazy. And you know what? Good on them for, like, booking new talent, because the thing is, and I would say maybe, but the thing is, and I do want to touch on who we think after this is going to the main roster.
For the audio listeners, Victor Albane says that Tony to the main roster.
Yeah, sorry, Victor. But like, sorry, audio users. But it's like,
we're all good.
Perhaps, but I don't know if they would have had her last match be a dark match.
Right. Not really. I don't want to say dark match, but like a pre-show match. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I watched this on Peacock, so I don't know if this was televised. Like, if that would have been one hell of a way for Tony Storm to go out during a freaking pre-show match. But I mean, where else do you put them in the middle of something? Because where do you put Stark versus Storm? Like, between the six-pack challenge? Like where the hell do you put that? Like, you can't. I don't see a situation where you put it on night one, I should say, and it fit the hype of the other matches. Because
unless it was like a future women's title like opportunity, but you're not going to put Stark in that position.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
Speaking of the women's match, holy mackerel, what a match that was!
Holy shit!
To see Io Shirai, who, spoiler alert, is one of my picks for later on for the main roster call-ups. The way that she got sent off was a like standing ovation type thing, and maybe that was for the title run, but I do think that she's going to the main roster.
Oh, wow.
I know, I'm a bit scared about that too.
Oh no.
But because I think night one of WrestleMania is going to end with a stare down between Sasha and Becky, but that's just me.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I just had to spoil that. But I do.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But I'm just saying, like, how you debut these wrestlers. It's a bit scary, especially for some of the other picks that I have later on that are terrifying to me.
Ooh, I
But
love this.
like, I love that match. I think Raquel Gonzalez. The only thing that I didn't get out of it was the swerve I expected.
Oh, with Dakota.
With Dakota, she came out and she left, and at that moment right there, I thought that Gonzalez was going to win because they were going to have her win clean. They're going to have her just win. Great moment, by the way, and it really is cementing Raquel Gonzalez as the Diesel of the Shawn Michaels and Diesel. She can branch out after being the muscle for Dakota Kai for such a long time.
Right.
And prove that she could do it on her own. Now, that said, I do think that some form of a turn is going to end up happening.
Oh yeah.
Like she's going to be like, "Oh, I didn't need you there to win, blah blah blah." That type of thing.
Right.
But what a tremendous run by Io Shirai. Fantastic. Yeah. The jump off of the skull will be my moment of the night that night because it was incredible and I loved it. But yeah, hats off to Io. MSK wins. Good. I think we already obviously touched on that. And I guess the two other matches that we haven't discussed, unless you have something on Io and
quickly before we move on, because I know we need to talk about night 2 for a little bit, but Raquel, right. I heard that Io and Raquel went short because they were on USA and they had a hard out, so the match went on shorter than expected. And I don't know where you get how that gets lost with time constraints and what matches went long that caused their match to go short. And to me, it didn't feel short, but comparing it to the run times of the other matches, I'm like, okay, like we could have slowed this down a little bit. Because I do agree, like, although I may not have been the biggest Raquel Gonzalez fan, I mean, they must see something in her, and I saw that. I was happy when she won. And this is coming from a guy who loves Io Shirai. I love Io Shirai so much. And I'm scared that if she does go to the main roster, ooh, sheesh.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah, please go to SmackDown of all things. But that's I don't think she will if she does. But the stuff with Raquel, they obviously see something in her. We're gonna see something between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. My one thing is that a really hard pill to swallow, which right next to my pride, it's gonna be the next thing that goes down. Raquel Gonzalez getting singles gold before someone like Dakota Kai and someone like Candice LeRae, who we saw in night 2. Like that's I'm a big Candice LeRae fan. I love Dakota Kai. I think she's great too. And I know Raquel, like they obviously see something in her. She's going to be a big deal, and she will be a big deal. They made her look strong as hell to defeat Io Shirai, because you're the person to dethrone Io Shirai's historic reign with this belt. And I saw this graphic of all the people that Io Shirai beat, ranging from Toni Storm to Charlotte to Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks.
She beat Charlotte, and I forgot that she beat Charlotte. But if I'm going to be honest, I think that Dakota will dethrone her. Candice LeRae is one of those wrestlers that I just don't think needs a championship to be a star.
Of course, yeah, she'll need
she's perfect in what she's doing right now, and maybe eventually she'll get there, but she did kind of overstay her welcome in that feud with Io Shirai for a while, in my opinion. That was long and drawn out and never went anywhere because she obviously never won. That said, there's 2 standout matches that we haven't talked about for night 2.
Okay, let's do it.
And that is Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. First thoughts on that. Kross going over didn't surprise me or anything like that. I thought it was coming. I predicted Finn to win just because I like Finn. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, love Finn Balor. Love
and
him.
to that point, did this match make me a Karrion Kross fan? I enjoy him now a little bit more after watching the match. I get
Good.
it.
I know you weren't the biggest Cross fan last week, or you weren't a fan at all of what Cross was bringing.
And I get it. He's going to be one of those big monster type wrestlers, big muscly world champion eventually. I think that he's going to be one of Vince's guys when he gets brought up. Like, he's going to like him a lot. Beyond Cross, where does Finn Balor go from here?
That's the big money question, ain't it? Like, I
think
the future of Finn Balor is more interesting than the future of Karrion Kross at this moment.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's Gargano's next feud. Have we ever seen Finn Gargano in a one-on-one?
I bet it's happened.
But that would be one hell of a match right there.
Because I know Finn was playing like a tweener going into this match. And this is something I wanted to bring up that I mentioned earlier. Like, the fans being there, the little amount of fans that were there. What intrigued me about this match in particular is that when Cross won, he got booed. And I know that Finn has been acting awfully heelish in this most recent NXT run that he's had.
Yeah.
But he was going in this like a little bit of a tweenie. And then Cross came back. The guy who never lost his championship, he had to forego it due to injury, came back, was doing the stuff with Balor. But they were almost booking Cross like the face. And the face won and he got booed. Right. That makes me wonder if we had like a packed arena at, where are they at? Tampa, out there at I don't even know where the hell the local arena is in Tampa, but you know what I mean. If they had a big ass, thousands of people at a venue, how would the reaction would have been? How would have the reaction been if Cross won? That's my thing.
Think
with thousands of people there,
he comes across to me as a Finn or as a Roman Reigns type, where he's getting over because of his size and he's getting over because of his look.
Sure.
He has Scarlett as a manager, and I think that that's great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Never separate them. I'm serious.
Never.
Like, when it comes to WWE, it doesn't make any sense to ever separate them.
Plus, they're married. They like their married couples together.
Well, they came in together. They should leave together. You know what I mean? It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, is she a wrestler?
She's wrestled, yeah.
Okay.
She has I don't think she's wrestled on the NXT banner before, but she's wrestled elsewhere. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I can see why Cross would get booed. Here's the thing, is that there are those larger than life wrestlers that when you throw into a very marquee place are always going to get cheered.
Right.
Gargano would get cheered if there were a lot of fans there.
Yes.
Walter, though the heel, I guess in that situation would the pop would be just as loud as the whole arena could possibly hold. You know what I mean?
So, a live crowd would have ate that match up.
Right.
Up, dude.
Swerve would be cheered. Everybody who was a heel in this situation. LA Knight in front of a crowd for the first time would be cheered just because
of man.
So I wouldn't put anything to the heel and face situation when it comes to NXT unless they are like deliberately heels. But because I think that NXT is like the popular place for wrestling. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Totally. Yeah.
It's the place that you go to just enjoy wrestling, let alone anything else. So for Cross to be booed in that situation, I will view it as a few things. I'll view it as he's going up against Finn Balor, larger than life. He's kind of looks like a Roman Reigns type, and I know that the fans don't necessarily love that. And going against Finn Balor is probably like the biggest aspect of it. And he's not. Was Karrion Kross? He had to have been in the Indies somewhere, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, obviously. So, like, I guess he is an indie darling, but at the same time, it's Finn Balor. You know what I mean?
This is another match I would love to see with the live crowd and how they partake to both of these men. Like Cross obviously has a reputation that follows him for the better, and and Balor's obviously that guy who was that indie guy at one point, came to WWE. He's been here for a little bit now, and he's talk about those indie guys that we love that WWE didn't necessarily love. That's how like Balor, Cesaro, Sami Zayn for a while, Kevin Owens for a little bit, and he was being just like when he was floating around the mid card, like those type of guys, they get over so well. And I think with Cross being like the white hot guy, right? Mm-hmm. People are going to root for Cross regardless. Him against Balor, I think it would have been one hell of a reaction. Right. But Cross's booing, I wonder how they take Cross from this point forward. Like, do you book him as a face? Do you book him as a heel? Or like who's his first opponent after Balor? Because odds are there's going to be a rematch.
He's going to have a rematch, and I think, I don't even want this to be how it goes. I just have a feeling that I know that this guy is going to be pushed to the freaking moon, and if a crowd was there, he would get eaten alive.
Right.
I think Parker Boudreaux is going to beat the living snot out of Finn Balor after he loses.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's definitely a name I was not expecting.
We're still waiting for him to make his debut.
Right.
And he looks like Brock Lesnar. He's going to be pushed. He is a Paul Heyman guy. He's going to be pushed like no wrestler I have ever seen before, in my opinion.
We may not see him for a bit. They might make us wait for him. He might not be ready.
I don't think he is, but I think the WWE has a tendency to push guys they think have the look. You know what I mean?
That too. Yeah.
So I kind of have a feeling that maybe he might be making his debut soon. I think if you want Finn Balor to be like that face type wrestler, I think you have him, do that. Yeah, what's crazy, and I keep forgetting his name, and I know that I keep forgetting his name, is that guy who got injured, who Pete Dunne basically replaced for that Britain versus America match. You know who I'm talking about? The really strong guy, or not? That what's his name? Replaced. Who's the Pat McAfee replaced? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh shit!
I keep forgetting his name.
I gotta look it up. I know who you're talking about.
That guy looks exactly like Parker Boudreaux, though. So, I just have a feeling we're gonna see a lot of the same guy get booked to the moon in WWE very soon. The name's on the tip of my tongue, and I
know exactly what you're talking about. Hold up. I got this. I can figure this out.
But because he needs to come back, what are they going to do with him? NXT is going to feel a little bloated after this, and it's not going to have a definitive direction as to where to go. I think Cross Ciampa would be really good. I think Ciampa proved enough that maybe he could carry. Not that Karrion Kross needs to be carried, but you know what I mean. Like carry a good match with him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's just so much that can possibly be done, and I don't know the direction of either of these wrestlers after their inevitable rematch. Sorry, audio users, we're here.
Yeah, we're still here. No, seriously, but I was. Something that I kept harking on was I'm scared for the Balor stuff. Like I don't know if this ends up bringing him back to the main roster. Is this something that will consist of him sticking around but feuding with somebody else? So Ridge Holland.
That's who it is. Yes.
There we go.
Ridge Holland is but that's the thing though.
And
he's gonna come back and he's gonna be in the main event picture.
I forgot about Ridge Holland.
They clearly wanted Ridge Holland in the main event picture when it came to the British invasion of NXT.
Oh my god. NXT is beyond bloated.
It is.
Bloated isn't even the word, bro.
And that's why they needed to split up their takeover beyond 2 nights. I think it honestly would have still been 2 nights if fans were still there. Because you're not going to have 5 hours of NXT. I just don't think so. But it's just like that. That said, the final match of the night, because we have been on this segment for a very long time, obviously,
yes,
was Adam Cole getting the snot beaten out of him by
Kyle O'Reilly, baby.
Kyle O'Reilly, who was getting the snot beaten out of him by Adam Cole. It was just a snot fest. Ew. But
Yuck.
like, it was just like two wrestlers just beating the hell out of each other in a very long unsanctioned match that Kyle O'Reilly inevitably wins.
Yes.
NXT Takeover Night 2 leaves a tremendous amount of questions. Where do these two wrestlers go from here? I have a feeling I know where Adam Cole's going, but
God damn it.
But, you know, and I have a feeling that Roderick Strong might be coming with him. It's just like, where does it go from here? Does Kyle O'Reilly inevitably get that first shot at Karrion Kross? And if that's the case, no. Just because I feel like Kyle O'Reilly has, if they were going to make him NXT champion, it was going to happen already. Now, Kyle O'Reilly versus Gargano to get O'Reilly away from the World Championship picture for a while.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be totally where they go from here. Because
cool.
O'Reilly proved that he has, long-standing sustainability in NXT beyond the Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish, does he ever come back? I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Does Bobby Fish make his
picture.
debut? Well, does Bobby Fish make his debut with the Undisputed Era on the main roster? Yeah,
I'm sorry. I had a moment.
Before we get into that talk, what was your thought on this match?
So, of course, the match ruled, right? It's two incredible workers, Kyle O'Reilly.
Thank you, Toby.
Toby doesn't even know what you're talking about. Shout out to
he just
Toby
wants to be against you.
Right. Like, you can tell me, you can say, like, hey, man, like, the sky's green. And Toby'd be like, yes, I'm agreeing with you, Nick, not Chris. But no, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, of course, it's two great workers having a great match, right? This was a close second for me. I don't want to say close. This was the second choice for me match of TakeOver. I really enjoyed this match. My only issue with matches like this, like they did this with the Last Man Standing match at the Rumble, and they did this with Edge versus Orton last year when Edge came back. The matches are too damn long. Oh my God. They did this with Cole and Gargano, right? Where it was like kick out fest for the NXT title, right? When Cole won when he won the belt back. It's like I can't do these long matches in NXT, like especially when if you go back and when you go back and rewatch this, like I had it on my TV right before this, and I watched this match earlier this afternoon. I swear to God, this match takes forever in hindsight. Like the longer the match, the harder I have to the harder the rewatchability is.
Yes. And
yes, it's entertaining. Yes, the story was there. The hype package before it was awesome, and it ruled because there's all this built-in story because of their history outside of NXT.
Right.
But damn it, the match is too long. And I'll be the first person to say about Edge Orton last year. So I'm going to say it again here. And hopefully we get nothing like that at WrestleMania because Lord knows you don't have time for that. That being said,
it's going to sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. With that being said, of course this match ruled. This was my second favorite match of the weekend, or of the two shows for TakeOver. I just think the bar is set. NXT sets the bar pretty damn high for all their matches, and I feel bad for the people on the actual WrestleMania card that have to follow that. I do want to give some love real quick to Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, the Fire Pit, and The Way.
Yes.
Their match was also entertaining. I knew The Way wasn't gonna win the belts because the Fire Pit just got them. I don't want to.
Yeah, you're gonna diminish your tag team championships before you could even diminish them. You know what I mean? Because having them already lose the title, first of all, set the direction of that Raquel Gonzalez was going to be the number one contender. You know, it set that up. But at the same time, it's just like, man, oh man, golly gee whiz.
There's a lot of great stuff at TakeOver, though.
Yes.
So that's set. A lot of great matches.
3 call-ups that you think possibly are going to happen. I'll name off some of mine right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Adam Cole.
Damn it.
Io Shirai.
Damn it.
My third one is going to be a little bit tough because I can't really think of one. If it's Finn Balor, that's going to suck. It might suck. I don't know. Is it going to suck? That's the issue. Is there anybody that can like debut early on that would have a run in at WrestleMania that could debut? No, I don't think so. Does Timothy Thatcher make his debut? I'm kidding. I don't think that he hasn't done anything in NXT really, I guess, except for tag with Matt Riddle. So
right.
Is there a tag team that is ready to be called up finally? I don't know. It's such a crapshoot. Chris, you got anybody? I know I said 3, but at this point I can't even really think of it.
If I had to pick some, I don't want anybody to go yet, but if I had to pick some, Io Shirai makes sense. Lord knows they need her on the main roster for their women's division, especially on Raw. Adam Cole makes sense. I don't want it to happen again because I love Adam Cole, and I think his height will screw him over. As stupid as that might sound, that's the popular consensus.
That's what happened with Finn Balor. So
that's what happened with Daniel Bryan early on, until the fans were like, "Wait a minute." And then if I had to pick another one, I'll pick the tag team that lost during the pre-show on night 2. It's Breezango. I'll pick them both.
Okay,
I think it's time. I think it's time. I know they're there to put people over, but I would not hate it if they were on a Raw or SmackDown to bolster a tag division, because Lord knows they both need some help. Those are just my 2 cents. I don't want anybody to go. I think there's still a lot of story to be told on both nights with a lot of these superstars. Jordan Devlin, maybe he sticks around. Does he go back to NXT UK? Santos Escobar, what's going to go happen?
Devlin
Walter definitely would be dope as hell.
Will the Cruiserweight champion actually appear on 205 Live?
That too, right? Yeah. I know the stuff with Gargano and Cross interests me. I want to see where the way goes now. I need some follow-up to the story, and MSK winning the belts was really, really cool to see. I know we didn't have them winning. I think you had Grizzled Young Vets, and I had Legado del Fantasma. But we both, at the end of the day, we wanted MSK to win. We just thought it was a little too soon, but I guess they didn't. So I'm glad to be wrong in this case.
Same here. That said,
yeah, right.
We have more than just NXT to talk about.
Right.
Where NXT is a little bloated, our show is a little bloated. We love it that way.
Of course it is. I only like Wrestle Reel when it's bloated.
That said, a little thick Wrestle Reel.
Damn right.
A clean cleek. So that said, we have some Seth Rollins news. Seth Rollins has been making the rounds. The dapper Messiah, I would say, because he showed up to SmackDown with that fire ass suit. We're gonna move on to an unsanctioned interview type thing because he broke character. We're gonna talk a little Seth Rollins here.
So Seth Rollins was on Ryan Satin's new podcast. It's called Out of Character, which is appropriate because these wrestlers talk out of character, like Seth Rollins did. Right. Is that shit crazy? Well, they talked about fans and the reception of fans coming back and how that's going to feel, right? We just got talking about NXT, how they had like a select group. Well, WrestleMania this weekend will have a larger crowd. They will have a few thousand people there, which will be surreal to see. And I'm looking forward to how that pans out. But during the interview, Seth Rollins had some thoughts about how WWE has, they can tell cleaner stories with fans not being there. And he went on to say, and I'm going to quote this directly from Ryan Satin's Twitter. He said, and I quote, this is from Seth Rollins, "Whether that's good or bad, I'm not entirely sure in regards to people getting, or fans coming back. I miss the fans and live interaction, but I like being able to cut a promo and getting all the way through without having to side-eye the audience." And he elaborated by saying, "Some stories have overstayed their welcome, but we've definitely been allowed to tell fully fleshed out stories over 6 or 7 months that we wouldn't get through normally because a live crowd would force creative to change course." Now, Nick, I want to ask you, are fans, like, because Seth Rollins is making it seem like fans have a lot to say in what stories go and how these stories go. And we've seen that case before in recent history. But do you agree with what he said in regards to fans coming back and them being able to change the narrative or change the story or whatever due to their presence and how they're there?
Yeah, I mean, don't disagree with Rollins, though at the same time, it's like, I don't think that he said anything negative necessarily about the fans per se.
Right.
Because, like, if I'm being quite honest with you, like, I didn't even really, I mean, I read up on this a little bit. So what I was expecting Rollins to be like, oh my gosh, having the fans there sucks, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that the fans obviously determine the storylines at times. You know, Daniel Bryan wouldn't be as over as he is without it. Naomi wouldn't have been as over as she is, even though that was during the pandemic.
Right.
I think that, like, fans' voices have been heard, and at the same time, it's like Seth Rollins and the Mysterios went on way freaking too long, and you know that's what he's referencing.
Yeah, they were talking about that. Yeah,
I mean, that's what he's talking about. And at the same time, it's like, yeah, that storyline went on for way too long. And if I was a fan that was there, I would not have been having it. Because it's like Seth Rollins and the Mysterios are too good to keep using in the same exact way over and over and over and over again. Now, Dominic Mysterio's momentum has fizzled out. I don't know if he's in the Andre the 3000 Memorial Battle Royal tonight. He might be.
Who are you talking about? Seth?
Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic Mysterio. Here, I'll tell you right now.
Which, by the way, Shinsuke Nakamura, if you don't win it, then what the... even though I say Tucker. But
Jesus
it's just
Christ.
Like, if I was in the stands, I would be screaming.
You all right?
Yeah, sorry, I was sneezing.
No, you're good.
Little weather skis changing is just kind of getting to me a little bit. But that said, it's just like, he's not wrong, but at the same time, it's like, without the fans, what do you have?
Right. Yeah.
I think that it's annoying when they're a dick to the point that, like, they change everything. But, like, fan reaction is a part of wrestling.
No, and I didn't realize that until they were gone. You know, and when we had those few months of them not piping in crowd noise and stuff, it was weird hearing people do the whole like the hitting the mat and hearing the echo from cutting your promo. That was weird. Yeah. It was really, really weird. And I that's something I wasn't necessarily rocking with. But with what Seth Rollins said, I totally understood what he was talking about. Mm. And by the way, neither Mysterio's in this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal thing. So just keep that in mind. And yes, it should be Nakamura, but who the hell knows? So
it's just like they should be using him on the actual WrestleMania. There shouldn't be a WrestleMania with Nakamura in the company that does not have Nakamura in it.
We don't know. We don't know what we're doing. We're dumb. But in regards to Seth Rollins, I agree with what he said totally. The fans have a lot of sway. And if the fans don't like something, ooh, boy, they have to adjust. But
we will let them know.
Right. And that's where WWE got lucky. And I think tomorrow will be a big reason into why I think this whole COVID experiment may be coming to an end. Because when fans come back, they will let their voices be heard. Mm-hmm. So, for example, on Sunday, presumably the triple threat will close the show. So when Roman comes out, I'm eager to hear his reaction. Eager.
Yes, because he's over his shit right now.
Yeah, because we all love Roman Reigns on Twitter. That don't mean shit when it comes to fans being there. Yeah. Right? And there was official confirmation from WWE proper that Sasha Bianca will close tonight. I'll get to that in a little bit. Night one, I should say. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So I think that Rollins is onto something. I just think his words got misinterpreted. Because I know fans are like, how dare you complain about the fans? It's like he's not.
He's like, as ready as everybody else is for the fans to come back. Because what is the point of doing this if there are no fans?
Right. But he makes a great point in saying, like all these guys and gals got so used to cutting promos without being interrupted by fans. Without what? Like there was none of that garbage, right? There was none of that, and they went out there, they did their job, and they left. There was no fans to feed off of. There are a lot of pros and cons to fans not being at wrestling events, and a pro for WWE is that they got to tell the stories they wanted to, which that will come to a rapid end the second that fans are back in full capacity the second they start touring again, whenever that happens. We might not see a tour till the end of this year.
Yeah.
If we're lucky. But I think that the whole idea of fans being able to dictate storylines, I think it's a little far-fetched. Us fans have a lot of sway, though. And if we're there and if we don't like something, we'll definitely be the first people to say something.
Which
and I feel like
at times.
Yeah, it does get a little out of hand, but the pros, at least in our eyes, because we are the fan store, maybe we have our rose-colored glasses on, but we like the Daniel Bryan stuff.
Yes.
Cesaro, right? The whole stuff, everything with Cesaro that he's ever done.
We really hope that he will go over.
And we'll get to that in a little bit.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm just saying the stuff with Seth Rollins, like he's on to something. I think you made a great point. Did it come off? I didn't listen to the audio, so maybe it came off as a little bit snooty.
Yeah,
but
it's like,
no, I think Seth's on to something. It's not like fans have a lot of say. A lot of the folks that we like that are over right now, we're gonna be the first ones like, yay! like Sasha Bianca to end night one. It's gonna be me on this channel on Saturday, tomorrow. Like, yay!
I hope that you're like, yay!
Yeah, like Black Girl Magic. Like, I'm so excited for tomorrow night, especially.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
It's so good.
That said, we have some WrestleMania to talk about.
It's our prelude party, baby.
Prelude party. Let's go.
Yo, WrestleMania is this weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday will be live on the channel. I believe I scheduled the watch along to start at 6:30 Eastern tomorrow. So we'll be on a little bit before the kickoff starts, just chatting.
5:45 is what it says.
That's Sunday. That's Sunday because we're going to be doing a little bit of a Wrestle Reel talk. So we'll be doing a little bit of movie news before we talk wrestling on Sunday.
If I'm being honest, I set up because it said Wrestle Reel talk. I set up the stream with the thumbnail for that day, and I'm like, wait a second, that's not right. Yeah. And then I was like, crap, and then I set it for this one. But
no, we're good.
WrestleMania, man, it is super
WrestleMania. This is our first WrestleMania together on Wrestle Reel, and I'm really excited for this show. There's a lot of great matches for it. Split into 2 nights. I believe we have clarification on what is night 1 and what's night 2. So I actually, before we get to the card, Nick, it's WrestleMania season. This is truly the best week/weekend to be a wrestling fan, at least in my opinion. So what your 2 cents on WrestleMania as a whole, the event, the presentation, your history of WrestleMania? I want to know what's your relationship with WrestleMania like?
Well, I just want to preface that I finally figured out why everybody is saying that Becky might be there for night 1. Because
I saw that too.
She tweeted out, "Nothing is guaranteed here tonight. Only now, eternally." And what does that little thing spell? It spells night 1. But
she's working us, baby.
Oh, she's
worked.
But she's gonna be there for night 2. But WrestleMania, man, it's one of the most exciting times of the year. And I guess I didn't appreciate it as much until the pandemic struck and we needed something to watch. And right. WWE put on a quality show during the pandemic, and that was something that we desperately needed because sports weren't really going on and all that. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania can't stop. Vince would never let that happen.
Never.
So wrestling to me has meant a lot. It's something that I just grew up with, and seeing everything kind of just culminate. Some of the most iconic moments, some of the most iconic matches happen at WrestleMania. It's why it's the grandest show of them all.
Right.
And even adding the NXT stuff to it has really just made me appreciate it more and more. That said, Chris Anthony Lopez, what does WrestleMania mean to you?
WrestleMania 25 is the reason why I watch wrestling. It's the reason I got started. I love that show so much. Probably my favorite WrestleMania. Is it the best? Hell no. But I love it so much. I know we talked about it on this show multiple times. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker put on some of my favorite matches ever, back to back, and those are at WrestleMania 25 and 26. I feel like we mention them every week because, damn it, they deserve it. And they're some of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. Better than anything I've seen from New Japan, from AEW, from WWE in the last decade. There's so much good shit at WrestleMania. And when I think WrestleMania, it hit me yesterday, Nick. That's like when I was here at home, just walking around doing some stuff, and I forgot what I was doing, but it hit me like, yo, like this weekend's WrestleMania. Like this is really cool, and we're going live both days, and we're gonna be hanging out, watching WrestleMania. I'm having ourselves a grand old time, hanging out with some buddies.
WrestleMania with the boys, and
that's it. It's WAP Boy Summer. We're watching WrestleMania, and I'm stoked. And this show, right? Like, although I may be a little wishy-washy on the current product, and I hate Raw sometimes, but I love SmackDown so much all the time. And like a lot of my favorite wrestlers right now are on the card, which is really cool.
Except for Nakamura.
And I hate what they're doing with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships tonight because they're bored and they needed something for tonight. But it is what it is. It's SmackDown before WrestleMania. I'll get over it. And of course, like what happens after WrestleMania is big too. The Raw after is always a big deal. The SmackDown after now is gonna be a big deal.
I think the SmackDown after, is gonna be an even bigger deal. And in my high spot, Chris already knows my high spot because I texted it to him. But
did you?
Well, it was the thing that I had texted you that day that you blew your mind. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh shit!
As to why the SmackDown after WrestleMania could be pretty interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. That said, we have some WrestleMania ski to talk.
Yeah, let's break down these nights, dude. So night one, just to give a little bit of a rundown, we did get a confirmation, like I mentioned twice in this show. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks will headline night one. They'll be the last match of the evening. Thank you, God. I don't have to bitch about it. Maybe, and my high spot was evaporated, so maybe I have to think of another one before the end of the night.
Why is Chris mad about wrestling now?
Right. Maybe I have to think of something good for the night. But we'll have the Raw Tag Team Championship match between New Day, AJ Styles, and Omos. Rollins, Cesaro, McMahon, Strowman, Bad Bunny, Estoy en mi pick, and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. Banks, Belair, Lashley, McIntyre, and that's night one. Nick, do you have a match you're really looking forward to out of night one?
Besides Bianca and Sasha.
Besides Bianca and Sasha, that's the caveat.
Enough. Well, first of all, we get to see Omos wrestle for the first time.
Right.
I think, which is exciting. You know, I love the New Day, but I think that AJ Styles and Omos should take the titles off of them. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, I probably will say, is the match that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
It's two incredible technical, just two masterclasses of wrestlers who are going to be facing against each other. And I could not be more excited to see Cesaro in what I'm hoping is him going over. I feel like it makes sense, right?
Yeah. Makes sense, right?
I would really, really hope that he would go over. I don't know. We'll see. I am just really, 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 really looking forward to... I mean, night one, I'm not that excited about McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. I'm not. The WWE Championship almost feels like it's... For as historic as it is that Bobby Lashley is now the WWE Champion, and as fantastic as it is that he's finally, after all these years, the WWE Champion, it doesn't entirely feel like the buildup has been that great. You know? And I think I might be a bit jaded because they split the Hurt Business up. I think that, and even though I think they could still have an impact on this match, unless one of them wins the Andre the Johnson tonight, then at that point I'm going, well, maybe they're really trying to go their separate ways with this, or maybe there's a new Hurt Business. Keith Lee comes back and joins the Hurt Business because Keith Lee's not on the card and he's injured right now. I think, maybe.
Yes, he's not cleared to wrestle at the moment.
Yeah, it's so
huge bummer.
It sucks because he could have been that guy. I don't know. I am not as excited. I mean, I hope Bobby wins. I really hope that Bobby wins. I really hope that Bobby wins. Because at that point, it just feels like McIntyre is just being fed rematch championships over and over and over and over and over again.
Sure.
But again, the hype for this match hasn't entirely felt as what I wanted it to be. Because it does feel like it's been just thrown together. They were like, "Oh, McIntyre's the number one contender." Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Does this match end with Lesnar coming back? Probably not if it's not going to main event.
You're right.
I think this opens the show.
Likewise.
And with that, it's not going to feel as special of a night one to me. And I say that because though it could blow the roof off the place and be a fantastic match one,
right.
it also could feel like, though I know that Bianca versus Sasha is going to blow the roof off the place. First of all, SmackDown getting both main events is insane.
Right. Presumably.
I don't know what you throw at the wall for night two that wouldn't be the triple threat match.
Nah, yeah, I'm looking at night 2 and it's going to be a triple threat.
But like if it opens the show and is not a good match, the whole rest of the show is going to feel like dookie.
See, and that's why I think, with the exception of Banks Belair, this is the match I'm most looking forward to watching out of night one. Yes, I second everything you said in regards to Cesaro and Rollins. I think that match is going to be a killer. It's going to be great, right? It's going to be awesome, especially if they give them time to work. I'm looking forward to the other matches on night one, with the exception of with Strowman and McMahon. Talk about poorly put together things that just make no sense. And I want to see how bad that shit's going to be. And they put a steel cage in
match of the night. Well, okay, I was actually discussing that match with a friend of mine at work. It's more that I just feel bad about Braun in this situation.
Yeah.
Because Braun is great. Shane is okay. It is what it is with Shane. But the moment that you throw a stipulation onto a Shane McMahon match, you're more thinking, how is he going to do coast to coast, than you are about the opponent.
Right. It's the spot. It's the spot. Right.
Because that's good. That's a spotty match. I think personally, he's gonna go off the side into him, and all four of the parts of the cage.
Damn, that'd be wild. That'd be awesome.
See what I mean though? You're going, oh my god, that would be so exciting, and then you're thinking, who's Shane facing? It's Braun.
Right.
We love Braun. Braun won the Universal Championship last year at WrestleMania. Now, was he supposed to? Technically, no. But he did, and that was fantastic because he dethroned Goldberg, and Goldberg wasn't the world champion going into the night after, or the SmackDown after WrestleMania. But
they dropped the ball with Strowman forever ago.
Absolutely.
And they've been trying to reignite that same magic, but I think I don't want to say it's too late for Braun, but damn it, they just need to go back to what worked. And I think what worked is long gone, and that really blows. And there was a chance where there was a spot, there was a 6-month period where he was white hot. He could have done anything, and all of us would be like, "Whoa, yay!" We were all about it. But then I forget when it stopped, but it just stopped.
I can say that when it stopped.
When did it stop?
Braun has a tendency, for me, it's whenever he randomly turns heel. It's not when he's a heel, but it's the way they book him. He had all the motivation going in the world when he was facing against Roman Reigns, whether he was the heel or not. But then he suddenly turns on Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and all that, and I'm not finished with you. For me, the moment that Braun lost his luster was when he shaved his head after during the feud with Bray Wyatt,
right?
Where Bray Wyatt was clearly the more over wrestler and was going to go over Braun. It ruined all of his momentum. Now, that's hindsight 2020. We have to deal with this match. Bianca versus Sasha is going to be the best match of this night.
Yes.
Really excited about that. And whether or not Becky, is she Raw or is she SmackDown? I could see SmackDown.
She left on Raw. She left on Raw. I'll say that.
I can see them wanting her on SmackDown. Where to be quite honest, though, the women's title on Raw, the women's title on Raw is an afterthought.
Yes.
But they have better wrestlers.
Oh.
Where it's it's Asuka, Rhea, and Charlotte. Those are three of the best women's wrestlers in the game right now.
Yes.
And on the other hand, it's Sasha and it's Bianca and Bayley.
Who's not even booked on the card,
Who's not even booked on WrestleMania. You couldn't even find a damn tag team partner for her to be in that terrible tag team match we're going to be in.
Right.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about tag team turmoil on night one for a few seconds here. If there's a match that I can't predict who the hell's going to win it, it's that one.
Is that on night one? I thought it was on SmackDown.
Or the women's tag team thing?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is on SmackDown.
I thought that was on SmackDown.
Either way, let's talk about that for a second because we're going to go into night two. Let's talk about night two and book that and then talk about the tag team turmoil.
Okay, so quick thing about McIntyre and Lashley for a second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine. I'm really intrigued about how this is going to go because and spoiler alert for my prediction, I don't know where this is going to go. Do you give it back to McIntyre, have him have his WrestleMania moment in front of fans, or do you keep it with Lashley and have it rock? I don't want to have two back-to-back paper champions just to give the belt back to McIntyre. After you took the belt off of him, I'm leaning towards Lashley, but I don't know yet. And I'll make up my mind when we do predictions to end the show, or before our high spot. But I'm so curious about this match. It will open. It makes sense to open. If this one opened, I think you either have Cesaro, Rollins, or the Raw tag belts open. But yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking about leaning towards AJ and Amos. Onomatopoeia opening the show. I could see that happening. I think that we'll get into our predictions, but I still think that there's
Naomi, Lana versus Rose, Brooke versus Riot Squad versus Tamina, Natalia tonight. Or excuse me, it is night one. It is night one, and they will challenge the winners, they will challenge Jax and Baszler night two.
What an awfully thrown together. It's just not that it's an awfully thrown together match because you've had your moments and stuff like that. It's just Natalia and Tamina are heels. It makes zero sense whatsoever for them to face against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
Right.
Dana Brooke or Mandy Rose had again. This is another work conversation that I had with my friend. I'll go through all these tag teams. The Riot Squad hasn't been booked to shit lately, though it would make total sense for them to win this match.
They're the only true tag team in this.
Lana and Naomi make sense to win, but I just don't want it. And let's talk about the Mandy Rose of the room for a second. Mandy Rose was on top of the world when it came to her feud with Otis.
White hot.
Or her thing with Otis. White hot. Beats Sonya Deville. Fantastic. Moves to Raw because of the Miz in storyline world. Separated from Otis. Gets paired up with Dana Brooke. Have they won a match yet?
Beats me, dude.
I feel like the Mandy Rose should be doing what Peyton Royce is doing right now because I think that she has all the talent in the world to do something. This match, which by the way, Peyton Royce goes through all that and doesn't get booked on the show.
And does not get booked on the card, yep.
And this has the potential to open the show or be the dark match or whatever. Or the pre-show match or whatever.
There's no way this opens WrestleMania proper. There's no way in hell. No way.
I want Dana and Mandy to win because I feel like they need it.
Sure.
But they can't beat Nia and Shayna. It doesn't make any sense. That team should not beat Nia and Shayna. The only person in this entire match, well, Natalia and Tamina aside, I'm not going to say that they're going to win this match because it just doesn't make any sense. They've been booked too strong lately for them to win it as well.
Okay.
The only good wrestler, or the only outstanding wrestler in this match is Naomi. That could beat Nia or Shayna.
Sure.
Maybe Ruby Riott, but Ruby hasn't really been booked that great either, in my opinion. Where she should be.
Okay.
I want Riot Squad to win. I don't think that they will. I think that they're the phantasma of this match. where they're just thrown in there to be thrown in there. I think that Dana and Mandy, by God, should win, or one of them needs to turn on each other so we could not care about that feud. And then on the other hand, you have Lana and Naomi, who make a buttload of sense. The Lana experiment hasn't been doing anything for me, in my opinion.
Go ahead, finish.
It's just, I'm not looking forward to that match, and
I'll reserve my thoughts until we do predictions, and then I'll give my 2 cents, because my 2 cents will spoil my prediction. So night 2, let's talk about night 2 real quick before we do predictions for the show. U.S. title match, Riddle versus Sheamus, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, Logan Paul will be at ringside. Let's keep that in mind. IC title match, Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drama match, whatever the hell that is. Looking forward to it nonetheless. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton is also on night 2. Raw Women's Championship match, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, and the Universal Championship match, Reigns versus Edge versus Bryan. Now, with the exception of the presumed main event of the triple threat, Nick, what are you looking forward to, brother?
Rhea versus Asuka. I just have wanted that match for a while, though. Again, it's another championship match that hasn't been booked that well. Sure. Because she just kind of showed up, because I think Charlotte was clearly the person who was going to face against Asuka.
Yeah.
And probably win and blah, 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 blah. Though, I mean, here's the thing. Long-term storytelling would say that Asuka might actually beat Charlotte in that match. I think Rhea Ripley, though maybe it's a bit early, wins the title from Asuka. And we'll get into predictions later on. I mean, on the other hand, it's just like I've been clawing at the bit for them to do something with Sheamus, so hopefully he wins. And yeah, I mean, night 2 isn't as exciting for me.
Oh.
It's because like there's kind of weird matches. You got like the Nigerian for the 300th time, you've got Apollo versus Big E, where Apollo hopefully wins this match just so this doesn't become the Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai of the main roster.
Fun fact, Apollo Crews has lost to Big E 3 separate times.
Exactly.
Coming into this, yes.
So in all fantasy booking world, it makes sense for him to win this. But at the same time, it's just like, this is going to feel like a huge waste of time. There's so much going in Apollo's favor for this match to be won by him. The character change, the losses, the stipulation being his, I guess, because I guess Khali never lost a Punjabi prison match. it's just like what? I want to know what this match is. I don't have any.
It's basically no holds barred. That's what I've gathered.
And good, because this feud needs a stipulation. Because, like I said, this has been the most. It's just been dry because Big E keeps beating Apollo Crews to the point that he beat the gimmick out of him. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah, he beat an accent into him. That's what he did.
Well, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to be the one to say that.
I'll say it.
But it's just like and then like the match I'm looking forward to the least is this tag team championship match for the women's tag team championship.
That too.
It's like it's lot of these championship matches have felt very thrown together. The only one that has had long-term booking implementations and has been booked very well is the triple threat match, Sasha versus Bianca, Drew versus Bobby Lashley writes itself, but at the same time, I just feel like it hasn't been booked that well because it's just was like, hey, Drew is the number one contender. I would have loved to have seen, a gauntlet match between the Hurt Business and Drew McIntyre to earn his way back into the title picture or something. And we never even talked about Damian Priest versus the Miz.
Shit.
We know how that match
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
But we know how that match is going to go.
Right.
It's going to be Priest carrying the match, and then Bad Bunny's going to finish it. Right?
I think Bad Bunny's going to actually do some stuff. I'm surprised. I shouldn't say I'm surprised.
I'm going to let Chris talk about this real quick, and I will be right back.
Word. I gotcha. So, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest against Miz and Morrison. I am looking forward to this, like genuinely, because Bad Bunny's been given his different energy from the usual celebrities in matches. like he actually gives a shit. He's taking bumps. He cares about the product. He respects the product. He respects the game, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing how Bad Bunny does. Is he going to get the pin? Probably. Damian Priest going to do a lot of the heavy lifting? Totally. But I'm so glad they made this a tag match. I was scared that it was going to be Bad Bunny versus The Miz going into this, and I was going to hate that. But I like they made it a tag team match. We already know how this is going to end. I'd be surprised, shocked if Miz and Morrison do take that W. But in regards to night 2, right, and what I'm looking forward to, I second Nick's notion in regards to Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. I'm already looking forward to that. So to be a little bit different, I'll say The Fiend versus Randy Orton, because this is it. This is the end. I can't see this going any further than WrestleMania. I think this is how you write off Randy Orton for a little bit. You keep The Fiend around after he takes a W. Spoiler alert. While Nick's not here, I think you take The Fiend to give him a W. You get Randy Orton to get out of here for a little bit, and just have him do something different. Because usually when people deal with The Fiend, something changes about them. Hopefully that changes about Randy Orton as well. I am really looking forward to how this feud ends. Maybe not the match, how the feud ends. Nick.
Sorry, full disclosure, peeing myself on Wrestle Reel was not going to be the thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah, no, not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Yes, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton is what I'm assuming you're talking about. It's kind of a match
yes.
I forgot for night 2. I want this to end. It's not going the way that I wanted it to, because I really wanted Firefly Funhouse for
so
this.
Did I.
It doesn't really make sense that it's not Firefly Funhouse, because Firefly Funhouse was so good last year.
Right.
Randy Orton is the perfect wrestler to be the next one up for Firefly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That said, Bray Wyatt really needs this. Randy does not, because Randy has done so much this year.
Randy Orton is Randy Orton. He'll be fine.
I'm looking forward to a good Bray Wyatt showing.
Hopefully, if we get it. I know, like, Bray Wyatt is hit or miss to his matches, not because he's a bad wrestler or that it's his fault.
Because he's put into a corner and it's terrible.
Right, and especially with that character. But if I had to pick a close second, I am really looking forward to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn on a WrestleMania stage. I know we've seen it before multiple times, not only in WWE, but in NXT and in like freaking Pro Wrestling Gorilla and all this other crazy shit. But I am eager to see Zayn versus Owens on the WrestleMania stage. Hopefully, for the love of God and everything that is good, that Logan Paul is not getting involved in this match. His presence is just there for the sake of being being there.
Let's talk about this for just a second here. Well, somebody was like, KSI needs to come out. No, don't.
No, stop it. But enough.
Jericho has been like really weirdly teasing being around right now. And it's like, does he appear in this match? I don't think so.
No way in hell.
No
way in hell. I was like, expose my Batman blanket that I've been rocking with the whole show. No.
I had to pee a year cold. It's fine. We get it.
Yeah, no way. There's no way in hell Jericho shows up. No.
He tweeted a photo of him with a plane. I know he's just teasing us. I know. But he's on the Broken Skull sessions. I don't think he is. I think that, like, good on Logan Paul when he takes a bump. But it'll be like when Machine Gun Kelly got pop-up powerbombed. It's two people that I don't like getting beating the snot out of them. So,
right. I want to see Sami Zayn pick up a W here. I want to, because I think like Kevin got his WrestleMania moment last year. I think it's time for Sami to get his.
Will KO jump off of the ship like he wanted?
No, no, I don't think so. As cool as if the ship is on the field, then let's revisit this conversation. If not, then no. I don't think so. But and I mean, might as well we can just jump into predictions now because I feel like this is where this conversation is going to go inevitably. But of course, we're looking forward to every match on this card. Like whether we like it or not, we're going to watch the damn show.
Yes,
and if
we're
we hate
going to love
it,
and we're going to be excited, and we're going to mark the F out if there's returns or big moments or anything like that.
Of course, and of course, you can catch that on this very channel or on our multiple pages on Facebook. I know we're going live for sure on Facebook on Sunday for Wrestle Reel Talk, but for tomorrow, as of right now, it's just Twitter, or not, it's just YouTube and Twitch. Yes. So might as well just jump into predictions now. Let's start off with the Raw Tag Team Championship match, the New Day versus Styles and Omos. Nick, who you got?
Styles and Omos, because both of them need it. Well, Omos hasn't wrestled, and I think he's going to destroy Kofi Xavier.
Ooh.
I don't think AJ's even going to be tagged. I think AJ's going to be tagged into pin.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's how this is going to go down.
I think AJ starts the match. Shit. Mother trucker. I think New Day retains.
Okay.
I hate to give Styles another WrestleMania loss, but I think
Chris Anthony Lopez. Do we have any stipulations on these predictions at all? Are we gonna
want to put a little wager?
Do we want to put a little wage ski on this?
What did you have anything in mind?
Something that we have to wear on the next Wrestle Reel for whoever is right. I would say a dress, but I would look too good in that. So
I don't have one at my disposal either.
Okay.
It'd be weird if I did, wouldn't it?
No. Hey.
What could we
like to have our meetings on the show.
Yeah, you know what?
No.
I'll happily put a wager on this. Let's sit on it and we'll
think about what our wager will be. And we'll announce it tomorrow. I'm gonna mark down as we go along. Because I feel like, Cultaholic does this all the time.
Yeah, we can do something fun. We'll chat about it and we'll announce it tomorrow before the show starts. And whoever our friends that are going to join us tomorrow, I definitely want their predictions too. So we'll definitely reiterate all these tomorrow when the time comes. So I got New Day, you got Styles Omos. Next, Rollins Cesaro. Nick, we got Cesaro. I also have Cesaro. Like, I feel like there's no way in hell Cesaro loses. I would be surprised if he took an L at WrestleMania like this.
Yes.
McMahon, Strowman, Steel Cage.
McMahon.
Real? I got Strowman handily.
I think it'll be a stupid ending.
It's gonna be dumb. Like, I think this match is gonna be. Oh, geez. I know it's gonna be Shane taking like a bumper, like a crazy ass bump, and it's gonna make me forget all the bad shit I just saw. But I still got Strowman taking this.
I'll say McMahon just to be
a little different.
To be a little different, but I honestly think that that's something they would do.
Estoy en mi peak. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison.
Bunny Priest.
I also have the Bunny Priest, which I'm pretty sure if you say it one more time, WWE will make that happen on Monday. They'll have the Bunny Priest come out on Raw. WWE Championship match. Bobby Lashley, the champion, against Drew McIntyre, the former champ. Who you got, Nick?
I have Bobby Lashley.
I also have Bobby Lashley retaining. I think Lashley needs to retain for the sake of for the sake of this run. Let him hold the belt until like SummerSlam, and they can give it back to McIntyre.
Yes.
And let's do that turmoil match. Naomi and Lana versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke versus the Riot Squad of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Tamina. Nick, who wins?
I'm gonna go with begrudgingly. I'm gonna go with Naomi and Lana.
I respect it. I respect it. I think I heard what you were saying earlier, and this is where I'll give my 2 cents on this match real quick. I know I get everything you were saying earlier. I totally agree with everything you said. I think it should be the Riot Squad because they solely are the only tag team in this little match.
Yes.
However, I think we're going to see a hastily put together match since this was, and we're going to see it again on Sunday. We're going to see Tamina and Natalya face off against Jax and Baszler. I'm pretty confident in it. I'm pretty confident in saying that.
Okay.
I'm more confident in saying that than I am Lashley McIntyre and the winner of that. And the main event, night one, Bianca and Sasha, who you got walking out with the SmackDown Women's Championship?
Sasha.
Jeez. I got Bianca, dude.
Okay, that's a big one right there.
I got Bianca. I think Bianca's going to win. I think I know the consensus on social media is that this build hasn't been the best, which I agree. It hasn't been the best, but to me, I think the story tells itself. You don't need to sell me on this match any further. I talked about it on the show plenty of time, And I don't need to do it again because y'all hear me bitch about it tomorrow. I got Bianca and Sasha. I got Bianca beating Sasha and Bianca having a kick-ass run on SmackDown with this belt because Lord knows we need fresh faces.
Agreed.
All right.
I hope that Bianca wins. I just think Sasha's going to. And I think it's because Becky's going to come back.
Uh-oh.
I'll preface that.
Oh, that Becky prediction. We'll table that. We'll table that. Night 2. U.S. Championship match. Riddle versus Sheamus. Who you got?
Sheamus.
Ooh, I got... Oh, damn it. I wanted to say Riddle, but... I think that Riddle retains.
Okay.
I think Riddle will retain. And Sheamus will win later.
I think Sheamus needs it. Or deserves it. I think Sheamus deserves it.
Oh, deserves it. Yeah. I think Sheamus will win this eventually, just not now. Okay. I think they'll give Riddle his moment at WrestleMania. IC Championship match. Big E, the champ, versus Apollo Crews in a glorified no holds barred match. Nick, who you got? Apollo Crews. Ah, hell. I want Big E to win so bad, but I think I'm also going to pick Apollo Crews.
If Big E wins, I'm not going to be mad, but I'm going to be mad at the whole storyline.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this feud does not end until Apollo wins it.
Yeah, and I think that's tomorrow, or that's Sunday. I think Apollo will win. I hate that Big E's not going to have his moment, but he'll have plenty of moments after this, at plenty of WrestleMania to come. I have a feeling. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Who you got?
Kevin Owens.
I think Sami Zayn gets his WrestleMania moment, dude. I really do think so. Kevin got his last year. I think it's time to give it to his brother.
Okay. I'm not mad. I don't know. I kind of am. I hate Sami Zayn right now. And he's like the worst thing in wrestling because he's what he is. I mean, I think he's the worst thing in wrestling because of the character that he's playing, which is the worst thing in wrestling. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I love
because
Sami
he's
Zayn.
such an annoying heel. He's probably one of the best heels I've ever seen.
He's one of the best heels rocking in wrestling right now. I'll die on that hill.
Yes.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. The Fiend. Oh, yes. Sorry. Okay. There's no way in hell the Fiend loses this. There's no way in hell that Bray Wyatt loses his match. There's no way.
No way. No.
Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow. She'll face off against Rhea Ripley. Who you got, Nick?
Ripley.
Oh, you got Rhea. Rhea lost the NXT Championship last year to Charlotte at WrestleMania. I think she'll get her victory this time around against Asuka. Unfortunately.
I don't know if it's unfortunate, though.
I want Asuka to get a win at WrestleMania and do that means something.
True.
And
she did retain the tag team titles, I think. She retained them, maybe? I don't know.
I think she retained them. But again, in singles action, she lost to Charlotte all them years ago, and that still leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But I have Rhea winning this match. I have a good feeling. Then this one's gonna be fun. Main event of the weekend, Nick. Universal Championship match. We have Roman Reigns, the head of the table, versus Edge, who won the Royal Rumble this past year. Let's not forget, versus Daniel Bryan in a pseudo repeat of our storyline going into WrestleMania 30. Nick, who is walking away with the Universal Championship?
I think Batista wins this match and Roman Reigns retains the title. Although I guess Batista would have been the Royal Rumble winner, but I'm saying like bulk build wise. I think Roman Reigns retains his title, continues his little WrestleMania record ski that he has. I keep taking your lines.
You're fine, dude.
I honestly do think Roman Reigns retains, and it has a moment in WrestleMania history where he's actually glorified for winning a WrestleMania match.
Oh, shit. I love what you just said, but I think in confidence. I wouldn't put money on it.
But in confidence, Daniel Bryan is going to pin Edge to win Universal Championship. And that would be the way to do it, is either Edge is going to pin Daniel Bryan or Daniel Bryan's going to pin Edge. You know what I mean? I don't think that Roman takes a pin here at all.
Roman will not take the pin if he loses.
But I think Roman Reigns. I think there's more to do with Roman Reigns. That's a little diabolical right there for me for my high spot. But I think there's a little bit more to do with Roman Reigns. Even if my thing that will never happen goes my way, I think that there's still more to do with Roman Reigns. I don't think that it makes sense because I think that I don't want him to hold the title all the way through next year, but I think he holds it until his match versus The Rock.
I definitely do think Roman will get the belt back relatively soon. But it's just, I think Daniel's going to have one last run.
I wanted D-Bry to win it, though, if he won the Royal Rumble, which is, I'm still very jaded about that.
I still think it was a mistake to put the Rumble on Edge. I'm still sour about it. I'm glad Daniel Bryan's in this because I think he's going to win. I think he'll pin Edge, and they will continue this feud because your high spot, I think it still happen. And I like to see Edge and Daniel Bryan in a singles match proper. But we forgot one. The tag match that we keep forgetting about. The women's tag match. I have Natalya and Tamina beating Jackson Baszler.
Okay, so I'm going to preface our prediction there as it's either going to be the winner of the Fatal 4-Way or Jackson Baszler. Or two different ones, and if the winner of the Fatal 4-Way wins, I'll still give you a point there. Because technically they still won. It's just not who you said it was going to be, or I said it was going
I have Jax and Baszler losing the belts.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Put that as the thing. Mm-hmm. Because, but, I will put down bonus point if the person who we predicted wins.
Yes.
That would be great. That would be great.
I think that's a good
caveat. That could be like the shittiest match of WrestleMania could be the deciding factor.
I like that caveat. I can rock with that. I can rock with that. But to end on a high note, I still do think that I find it hard to believe that Roman retains this. The match is going to be great. This match will be one of the better ones of the weekend. I think I can say that in confidence. Or one of the best matches of the week because NXT started on Wednesday. But yes, Roman will not be involved in the finish. Bryan will pin Edge. Like, I will go as far as saying that.
That would be, like I said, that's the way they got to do it.
Bryan and Edge are there to take the pin. Whoever loses.
I will still say Roman.
And I get why.
Because I think Roman deserves his moment because if he goes against The Rock, nobody's going to be hyped for him. And I think
that's moment enough, dude. Beating because he'll beat The Rock when The Rock comes back. He'll beat him.
There is. It's not a matter of if, but when it happens. I don't think that there's a single chance in the world that Roman Reigns does not, unless there's a conflict of interest there from The Rock. I do not think that there's a single chance in the world that Roman Reigns does not face The Rock at the Los Angeles WrestleMania.
Yeah, unless the
Hollywood WrestleMania.
Unless the schedule gets in the way for Dwayne, I think that's gonna happen too. But Nick, your high spot. I couldn't think of one, so I'm kind of bummed out I couldn't think of a WrestleMania show high spot. But I love yours, so I think
it's not even really something to be angry about. It's just something I booked in my head, and we like to do fantasy bookings here.
And I love it so much. So and it ties. Spoiler alert! It ties to the main event in a way. So let's go ahead and get to that high spot, baby. Let's do it. Take the floor, brother. It's all yours.
Picture this: SmackDown after WrestleMania. There is a big return being hyped up, but we don't know who it is. They're just saying a huge return. Thank you. A huge return will be happening on Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown Live. Roman Reigns comes out and is either parading his victory I think he's saying like this is my going off of my.
This is yours. Yes, this is yours.
This is Roman wins. He is out there going, these two opponents disrespected me. His usual disrespect. I'm the head of the table, and we get our big return. Jimmy Uso, after all this time, he says, "Who's next?" and wants to challenge for this spot at the table. Jimmy Uso comes back and is not going after the title.
Ooh.
I know. He's going, Uso, I'm still mad at Jimmy. He's still mad at Jimmy. I think a feud is going to brew there. He's mad at Jimmy, but all he's been hearing, shit. Well, whatever this, I'm going to keep on going on with this Jimmy Uso promo as I prep my thing that my big moment for this. Jimmy Uso comes out and he's like, Uso, I'm mad. This has been going on for too long.
Mm-hmm.
You come out here and you say that you're the head of the table. I'm preparing a Titantron. I'm just gonna preface it as that.
Here we go.
And Jimmy's talking about how very much so trying to. So Chris, are you enjoying the SmackDown versus after WrestleMania?
So when you told me this, right? Like I think
it contains music. I can't download it. I'll just continue.
Jimmy coming back is I think it's inevitable, dude.
I think Jimmy coming back makes sense. And he's out there going, at Easter, all I heard from the family was Joe is the head of the table. He's the head of the Samoan family.
That's Roman's shoot name.
That's his his real name.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy goes, I couldn't agree more. And then finally, after all this freaking time that we've been waiting, Samoa Joe comes back. I have been waiting for Samoa Joe to come back for so long. There are fans there, hopefully. Big pop. As many fans as there, the roof blows off the place. Because I honestly think if Samoa Joe finally came back, people would be going ballistic for him.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, Mace or T-Bar comes back to commentating. But like, I want Samoa Joe back so badly. And I think that he would be the perfect person in line. The story writes itself. They're both Samoan. They're both named Joe. And they're both two of the most decorated wrestlers of all time. They've feuded before. I understand. But this is different. Give me Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. Is that what's next?
It might be Backlash or something.
At Back to the Capital Punishment, whatever it is. Hashtag bring back Reggie. But it's just like all I want is for Samoa Joe to be back because I miss Samoa Joe. I don't think that he's had his due in the WWE yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think has he won a singles championship. Was he U.S. champion?
He might have been. I think he was U.S. champ. Yeah.
Samoa Joe, he's Samoa freaking Joe. He is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Right.
Don't at me. I think this is needed. This is necessary. And if I can't play it, I'm going to agree with myself. Give me Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns as Samoa or as the Samoan named Joe's next feud. Let it be Samoa Joe.
I love that, and I was at work when you sent me that a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh my god, that's genius. And I already used my one F-bomb, but that was effing like I think I said you're an effing genius, Nick. Like that's brilliant. I think that's how you do it. I know Joe's stuck behind a commentary table, and maybe Dio Madden can come back and do a commentary.
Who?
Right, Mace.
Mace, that's who it is.
Yeah, so
T-Bar, I'm sorry.
Yeah, hopefully.
How dare I disrespect Slapjack like that?
Yeah, how dare you? But how dare you disrespect Reckoning? So that's my thing, right? I love this. I wish it happens. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but I think that's perfect. And you align Joe with Jimmy Uso, and it's Jay and Roman.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really really cool.
It's the way to do this,
and you can inevitably bring them all together. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
You can have your own crazy ass faction on SmackDown. I think that's how. Holy shit! Like if you can have that done by Survivor Series time, have them face off against 4 baby faces on the
Call them the
SmackDown
main
roster.
event mafia. Just
Oh, hell on earth. That's that'd be yuck. But nah, man. Like I love that, and I hope it happens. But that's why I said I think you can do that without a belt, and I think it'd be perfectly fine. Because Roman can still be parading as like I didn't lose. I'm still the head of the table.
See,
that's how Roman Reigns talks to me.
I don't see a WWE right now where Roman's not Universal Champion. That's the thing. It's like I don't know what he does without the championship. Like there are certain wrestlers who don't need a championship. There are certain wrestlers that need to be in that picture to be not even to be good. Well, no, to be good. And Roman Reigns is one of those wrestlers, in my opinion, until he proves me otherwise, which he very well could because he has totally done a 180 in my eyes.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, in my opinion, needs a championship to be Roman Reigns.
Whew.
I know.
Oh wow! If you would have said that a year ago, I would have said yes. Now, I think it's I have to.
I don't see how this
disagree.
This character works without the championship.
If he doesn't get pinned, I think you can keep that going.
True.
It's the classic wrestling workaround, but it works.
And maybe Brock ends the show tomorrow night. Or I mean,
I would go Sunday. Nuts if he suplexes Sasha Banks. And
not what I meant.
It's like
actually, Parker Bordeaux does that. Then Brock comes back the next night as Brock Lesnar's son.
Jesus.
Barf.
But with that being said, did you have anything else, Nick, before we bounce?
WrestleMania, woo.
Yo, yeah, WrestleMania is gonna be big this weekend. It's our first WrestleMania on the channel, so make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on our social medias down below at C. Anthony Lopez and Nick Mulfilm, MUHL Film, AFILM. Can't spell it today. A lot of consonants going on the Twitter handle, and follow us on Instagram as well. Also at the top of the screen, you can see our Twitter handles. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment afterwards. It really helps us out. Really appreciate it. I mean, damn, if you are watching WrestleMania and you need a buddy to watch it with, how about 2? We're going to be doing it Saturday and Sunday. We're going live tomorrow at, I believe it's 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. And on Sunday for Wrestle Reel Talk, we'll be doing a little bit of movie news, just a tiny bit. And then we'll talk about some wrestling the whole night. That's at, what was it? 5:45 Eastern, 4:45 Central. And we'll finalize times tomorrow. That's just a tentative time. We'll see how the kickoff goes over the next few days. So, Nick, man, did we miss anything before we sign off?
I'm very, very, very excited for this show. I cannot wait to see what happens this weekend. WrestleMania, man, it's going to be so exciting. And I can't wait to spend it with you, my friend.
Feelings mutual, brother. So for WWE 2K Nick Mulbach, my name is Chris Macho Man Anthony Lopez. Hashtag WAPBoy Summer. Catch us all summer. We'll be kicking a bunch of ass. That was the 25th episode of Wrestle Reel. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy WrestleMania. Bye.
And that's the bottom line.